I'm with Eilat Leiber from the Tower of David Museum in Jaffa Gate, Jerusalem. You've just had a big renovation and celebrated a new opening. How was the opening and who did you have here for the opening ceremony?
Oh, it was very exciting. After so many years of conservation, renovation, we had all the partners of the museum, municipality and government, and of course the people who did this museum behind the galleries and the architecture, design and content. And it was a beautiful evening here at the Citadel.
How long did it take to do the renovations and how much did it cost?
It took 5 years of planning and raising funds and 3 years of implementation stage, actually, from starting exactly with COVID and finishing right now.
How much did it cost to do the whole renovation work?
About 50 million.
Wow.
Yes, and half of it approximately is from our major donor, the Clore Israel Foundation in London, and many other donors like Drahi Foundation, Keren Hayesod, the Jerusalem Foundation, and municipality and government.
Have you still got a little bit of renovation to do?
Yes, of course. We're still finishing right now the entrance pavilion, about to open in November, with a new contemporary gallery. So after more than 3 decades and millions of people who visited the Tower of David Museum, it was about time for renovation. First of all, the infrastructure, pretty old, and the building, the architecture, the beautiful walls and towers needed conservation and preservation. And we wanted to update the exhibition and to engage our visitors, especially the young generation, with the story of Jerusalem.
Did you find anything while you were doing that renovation?
Yes, of course. Every time you dig in Jerusalem, you might find something. So we had many surprises to find here, and I'm happy to say that most of them you can now see in our exhibition.
Well, tell us about some of the new galleries that you have here.
So I invite you to visit 10 different galleries telling the story of Jerusalem, starting with the introduction gallery, the timeline of Jerusalem, the eternal timeline of Jerusalem, by using 12 meters of screens, touch screens. You can dig down, discover the events and the history of the city. You can see beautiful timeline of artifacts presenting the different periods of the city, originals, beautiful. You can visit 3 galleries about the sacred city, first of all Judaism, then Christianity, then Islam. It's, of course, according to the chronology. And then for the first time, we have a beautiful gallery committed to the story of Tower of David. Tower of David is a time capsule. It's a microcosmos of Jerusalem. And you can see a lot of finds telling the story of this place that used to be the symbol of power in Jerusalem, and now it's a symbol of culture. It's a museum, it's a meeting point, a bridge between communities. So it's, again, I think the biggest exhibition about Jerusalem in the world right now.
Now a museum is all about the past, but do you have to look at modern day technology to attract people to come to the museum?
Yes, of course, technology is a language, it's a tool. And we wanted, as I said, to engage especially the young generation with the content, and by using projection and media, interactive media, the history come alive. And it's also a great tool to put many layers of information that if you want to dig down, you can find a very rich content.
Have you been getting any feedback from people?
Yes, of course. We're happy to see visitors coming every day, every morning. There's a line outside, and you can see young visitors with adults. They actually enjoying the exhibition.
Now, I imagine a lot of the renovation took place during the COVID year. Did that make it easier to do the renovation, or was it harder to do the renovation?
It's challenging. First of all, we are here inside the archaeological area, so we of course wanted to keep the beauty and the uniqueness of the site. And on the other hand, we wanted to update and install many, infrastructure for technology. So it was challenging. We also wanted to improve accessibility here, and now we are happy to say that the exhibition is accessible to all. So this was a great challenge to work with archaeologists to find solutions for all this.
Was COVID a challenge?
COVID here was an opportunity because we realized that we won't have tourists and visitors, and we could accelerate the project and focus on, the conservation. We could cut the schedule from 4 years to 3.
Now the minaret is part of the landscape here of the Tower of David Museum. Has that had a makeover as well?
Yes, the minaret was, I think, the jewel on the crown, since it was in a very bad condition. According to our engineers, we actually had to rebuild the minaret, of course, by using historical sources. And they did a great job, the experts of the Israeli Antiquities Authority. They did it really quick and beautifully done, and now the minaret will actually survive for the next generation.
How excited are you about the renovations that have taken place?
I must admit that I'm not excited right now because I still see the list of the missions we have to complete. But soon, as we will open our entrance pavilion, I must actually be here to complete it, and I hope to be excited.
And when people come here, they get a real sense and a real history of Jerusalem, don't they?
Yes, this museum is a real key to understand Jerusalem. This is a complicated city, 4,000 years of rich history, and the 3 religions, and of course, all the cultures that rule the city. Here you can really begin to understand and build the knowledge about the city. And that's why we also changed the circulation. Now you're coming from the west and exit the museum to the old city. And that's what makes the museum the gateway to the old city.
Mm-hmm. How many visitors do you get a year here?
Before COVID, we had 600,000 visitors every year. Tourism in Israel is not 100% what it used to be yet, but I hope that the world will recover. The war between Russia and Ukraine will end someday, and also the tourists from Asia will come back. So we hope to have about 1 million now.
And do you get local school children coming as well, Israeli school kids?
Yes, we have school children coming from all over the country. Our educational center in the museum works with all the communities of Jerusalem and, of course, Israel. We're talking about Israelis. We have an Arabic department. We have an ultra-Orthodox department because Jerusalem belongs to all.
What kind of modern technology are you using today?
Regarding modern technology, we have especially projection because it helps to keep the beauty of the spaces, the antiquities, without harming with a lot of equipment. We have interactive media. We wanted the visitor to be active, not passive. You can decide what you would like to search and find. And we have some beautiful games for children that family can come and the children can focus on using games and learn a lot from what they're doing.
Are you still doing the light shows? I know I've been to some wonderful light shows here at the Tower of David Museum.
Yes, of course, our night shows are the most popular shows in Israel, and it's still very popular. We're having it during the summer almost every day, and during winter, twice or 3 times a week.
And what's your hope for the future for the museum?
First of all, I hope for peace all over the world, and the world will recover from COVID. And I hope tourists will visit again Jerusalem and the museum. And I think the more you know, knowledge will build tolerance between people. And I hope Jerusalem will be attractive and beautiful for all.
So by sharing the past, you're helping to build peace?
Absolutely. The more you know about the other, you can respect even though you don't have to agree. But here in the Tower of David, we believe that knowledge is a great power for building dialogue and tolerance.
And what's your website for people who'd like to know more, perhaps come and visit?
Our website is tod.org.il.
Okay, Eilat, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I really invite you all to visit the new Tower of David Jerusalem Museum.